It's my turn.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Yeah.
So life doesn't pause when we're on the go. Each of us here are consumers, and we use whatever channels make the best sense to us. And I can see some of you have your phones out now. Some of you are hopefully taking notes, but you might be messaging and sending WhatsApp or sending text. And that's okay. You don't have to put your phones away. I'm not telling you off. We are essentially messaging in the channels that make the most sense for us in the place that we are. And I often find that we don't have that experience as consumers. Our brands haven't given us that same opportunity because they're building the journey around their own processes rather than around the customer. So let's have a look at how this might play out in this example. So we have Christine driving to work this morning, now that you can see her behind me too. So she's going to ask her VA on the way, or her assistant on the way to work, what her agenda is. And her son is coming to visit this evening, and she's reminded that she forgot to add him to her insurance. So she's going to call through to Boost Insurance, and we're going to skip the authentication part because we've just seen a great demonstration of that from our desert team. And we're going to have a look at how Christine gets on when she calls Boost Insurance.
Welcome to Boost Insurance. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'd like to add my son to my car insurance.
Of course, I can help you add your son to your policy. First, I need to ask you some questions about him. Does he have a valid license?
Yes, he does. He's had it for a few years now.
That's great. And how old is he?
He's turning 20 in a couple of weeks. Oh, wait, he's gotten 2 speeding tickets. Will that affect anything?
Okay, we're going to pause there because what you've seen so far is that conversational experience has gone pretty smoothly. We've taken some information, but Christine took us out of the flow. She jumped in, and you've all had that experience when you're calling into an IVR and you want to skip to the bit where you know where to go. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. More often than not, you still have to wait for that option to come up, or you say something it doesn't understand and you get taken to an agent immediately. But what we've seen here with Christine is that she said something that's relevant to the conversation. So much like the example we saw earlier with Stian, where we changed to a different topic, this doesn't derail the conversation. In fact, we can understand the context from which this came, and it enriches the conversation instead. So have a look what happens next.
No worries. We can still insure him, but the premium might be higher due to the speeding tickets and the fact that he is a young driver. Shall we proceed with the quote?
Yes, that would be great, thanks.
Great. Thank you for the information. I will now send an SMS to your number where you can upload your son's license to finalize the transaction.
Is it okay if I send my son's license later? I'm driving right now.
Of course, you can send your son's license whenever it is convenient for you. Have a great day.
So going back to that mix of channels and what's most convenient for you, it's not really possible to prove your driver's license through voice, so we do have to use another channel. And isn't it a much better customer experience to be able to continue that in the channel that makes the most sense? So here, Christine is going to send that through SMS, but it could be WhatsApp, it could be your app.
And I think it's a key message here to say, well, you know, having this voice conversation on top of having an automated control flow is really, I think, a way to ensure speediness and the flow of the conversation just goes, right?
Yeah, that's it. So we can be responsible here at Boost for helping you to have a great customer experience, but we cannot be held responsible for what's going to happen once your son gets behind the wheel again. So what we've seen here is a conversation that was great over voice, but could also happen over digital. And the idea is you can build once, and you can take that across a number of your different channels. And really what we're trying to do is be in the right place for your customer at the right time. So being where they are. And I implore you, as we think about how we grow, as you think about how you might take voice into your business if you're not already doing that. It's also a real focus on how we can make it about the customer and not about that process. Before we move on, though, and I hand over to Rasmus, we have some customers who are doing a pretty good job at this today. In fact, one of our customers is going to be in the voice breakout that's happening after the session. They'll be able to tell you how they are handling 9 different languages with their voice bot today. So we know that there's a lot of complexity as we move into different languages there, so very, very interesting conversations. And then the other 2 are really good examples of what a difference it can make if we're using voice in the right way. 10 times reduction in the number of escalations going to second line, and 50% reduction is a really, really significant number. So we are very excited to see more and more of these examples coming up. So with that, Rasmus.
Yeah, thank you very much. So basically, I'm just going to say a very few words around the focus areas for voice. So basically, focusing on the voice control, so the ability to control the conversation, also the voice itself, and certain things, aspects around the audio, for example, injecting SSML to sort of see, unfold a sound, or to emulate a specific sort of sound brand, for example. Finally, and then next, a focus area for us is the ability to easily set up these dialogues, because the voice is a little bit different from a chat channel. There are some additional things. So we're really working on making it easy for our customers to set these conversations up. Finally, integrations to our call centers and other external systems to sort of enable broader ecosystem. And finally, working with the actual dialogue management, making sure that the orchestration of these dialogues is great, and also obviously to connect it to the generative action so that you can have these dynamic conversations still with the guardrails and all the security features that we have already. So with that said, I think we are going on to the next stream.